The DC Defenders lay it all on the line this week as they face St. Louis for the division title, and GM Von Hutchins is ready for it. Despite a letdown versus Houston this weekend, this is a roster poised to make a run here in the playoffs, and despite all the Defenders GM has going on this week, he still makes time for Neil and I to talk his journey in football, scouting in the UFL, and so much more here on Scouting the League. Everyone, and welcome to Scouting the League. I pray you all had a restful Memorial Day weekend, one in which you remembered and honored all those who have made the ultimate sacrifice for you and I. There is no way to ever fully thank those who have served, but do all you can to let them know now anyway. On a completely different scale, let Neil and I know you appreciate us and this podcast as well by giving us a like, subscribe, and share. Comment wherever you are listening and let us know what you want to hear about or who you would like to hear from in the future. At Inside the League is where you can find Neil, InsideTheLeague.com, and SucceedInFootball.com. Make sure you grab his book, Value Picks. We discussed the Atlanta Falcons 2016 draft at length on here, something I was intimately a part of, but Value Picks takes you through the drama, decisions, and details behind 8 picks in that 2016 NFL draft. A great read. Grab your copy today. At Right Step ADV is where you can find me, rsafootball.com as well. TheScoutingCommunity.com is also a resource you must check out if you are a current NFL scout or aspiring NFL scout. Some really fun projects, development pieces, data sets, and so much more on the way there. Be a part of taking the scouting world to a whole nother level. TheScoutingCommunity.com. And to today's guest, Von Hutchins, a 2004 sixth-round pick of the Colts out of Ole Miss. Spent time in Indy, Houston, and Atlanta before injuries had other plans for his career. From there, it was front offices with the Packers and Raiders before eventually now running the DC Defenders of the UFL. A man that has his team ready to make a run here. Well, Von, welcome to Scouting the League.
Man, Rodrik, man, thank you guys for having me on. Neil, I appreciate, man, the invite.
Hey man, we're glad to have you. We're excited to have you, Roderick. Vaughn, we've been friends for a long time, going back to your Raiders days, and it's been exciting to watch what you've done with your opportunity, man. I mean, I remember you from when you were the assistant pro director with the Raiders, and then coming in, and man, it's been nothing but success for DC so far. Just so, congratulations there. Y'all getting ready to go on another playoff run.
Absolutely, man. Well, fortunate enough, man, to get the opportunity in 23 with the XFL League and Reggie Barlow. We had success then, 10-1, losing the finals. Then last year, a little bit of a setback, some things happening on the coaching side. Uh, there were elements that throughout the course of the season I didn't do as well. So I focused on that aspect leading into the off seasons for this year, uh, with shoring up the offensive line, number one. Shoring up the offensive line. That way Jordan is comfortable. The run game is exactly what Kice wants. And then for us, man, defensively being able to fly around and hit people, play fast, physical football. That's just what we do on our end.
Yeah.
Well, and we're going to get into how you built the team, and we're really interested in that actually. But one aspect of our podcast here, our little podcast, is we get a lot of people who want to be sitting where Von Hutchins is sitting one day. They want to be working in pro football. Tell us your origin story, buddy. Tell us how you kind of got in. What made working on the scouting and executive side appealing to you, and who your champion was, who kind of brought you in.
Man, so after I finished my career in Atlanta, I have about a year and a half, 2 years there where, I'm injured from the Liz Frank and trying to figure out what the next step is. So I sent out emails to a bunch of teams just wanting to get inside of the building, wanting to get on the personnel portion of it, whether it's the college side or whether it's the pro side. Uh, fortunately enough, man, Reggie McKenzie and that Green Bay staff, really Ted Thompson, that Green Bay staff, brought me in for an internship in the 2010 season. I
Right.
mean, and during that time, you got Ted Thompson in the building, Reggie McKenzie. Uh, we had Gudikist, Elliot Wolf, uh, Dorsey.
Dorsey.
You
Yeah.
know, so it was five general managers in the building
Alonzo.
at that point. Lonzo
Alonzo.
Highsmith.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, so there was a lot of intellect and expertise that I valued when I got in the building. And those times of writing 30 reports from the pro side, 30 reports from the college side. I mean, we were just there during training camp. So I was there 3 weeks, 3.5 weeks, 4 weeks or whatnot. And the amount of work that it took, however, I saw the passion again. I saw the fire of, oh, I can legitimately compete to, did I get this player right? Is he what I thought he was when I watched him on tape and I met him in person? Can he produce at that point? So yeah, it excited me. So fortunately enough, Reggie got an opportunity to go out to Oakland, and that's where I got my start at that point. And then from there, we spend those 7, 8 years out in Oakland. Then I worked with the NFLPA Bowl with Dane Vadenac. Appreciate Dane. I had worked with him previously out in Oakland. Dane brings me in, and now we're working together. We're building the NFLPA Bowl team, and now that was, oh, now we get a chance to do it all by ourselves. You know, this is building the entire roster by itself. And you know, automatically, okay, you're going to get Senior Bowl guys are gone. And now it's East, West, and us.
Right.
Who gets the best players? And you know, you hit on a player if they pull them to the Senior Bowl or they go to the East, West. And then after that, this opportunity came along. Uh, Doug Whaley contacted me and said that, hey, Vaughn, would you be interested in? uh, pretty much running a whole team. At that point, they called us DPPs, but essentially it was the same thing. Barlow had the title, but from the relationship that Barlow and myself built, it was immediate like, oh, well, Vaughn, you can control it. We'll just talk about it and we'll figure it out. And man, it's worked out great for me. We've been able to be successful. We've been able to put good product on the field, and that's the biggest thing. You want to put the product on the field, and it's about the players and making sure that you understand what's going on from the coaching staff side of it, what type of players they want, what style of players, what type of demeanor they want, uh, and then making sure that the players, number one, are healthy and they want to play. You know, obviously with the spring league, these guys want to put the tape out there so that the NFL gets a chance to see them. So that's the objective of this league. That's the objective of the DC Defenders. And that's the objective of all the other seven GMs that are in this building to help the players do exactly what they want to do. Get back to the NFL.
Yeah.
Now, Vaughn, your background obviously is on the pro side. If you had come in with a background almost strictly on the college side, would you be as equipped to do the job you're doing, which is, I would call almost a pro job, if you understand what I'm saying?
Oh, I mean, essentially at this point right now, I'm a one-man show. So
Yeah.
from general manager standpoint, uh, the thing that would be the biggest difference is that working with the coaches. College side, you write your reports, you send them in, and then you let the higher ups decide what's going on. Well, with myself, I don't want to be a dictator. So the constant communication with the coaches to understand what type of scheme we're running, what type of players best fit that scheme, and then making sure they have uh, those type of ingredients so that they can cook up what they need and put out what type of coordinator that they are, what type of position coach that they are, and then making sure that the personalities mix and match correctly, not only just with the team, but with each room. So I don't think that I would be as good because I would not have had the experience of having to communicate not only with the coaching staff, but with my athletic trainer, with my video coordinator, with my equipment guy, with the operations aspect of it. And as the general manager right now, Shannon Harris doesn't have to deal with any of that. I've learned that, okay, well, we now need to make meetings not only with about how to attain players and what players we want, but no, as a staff, how do we keep issues that we may have within our building in our building?
Mm-hmm.
How do we make sure that everybody from the video coordinator and his assistants, the equipment staff and his assistants, our athletic trainer and his assistants, operations, everybody's on the same page. So we get in twice a week, just us six. Hey man, let's hash out things so that the other 70 people within this building never have to hear that, hey, the plane's gonna be late at this time. So let's not make it a big deal. Hey,
Mm-hmm.
let's push back this schedule and move around this.
Mm-hmm.
What's going on with the indoor facility? Hey guys, what's happening with jerseys numbers? Hey
Yes, sir.
Kenny, what's going on with our equipment? When's the truck arriving to the plane?
Mm-hmm.
And why is the truck late? The players should never feel any of that. We
Right.
should be able to hash out all of that stuff on our end so that we can take care of it so that the players, they just get on the plane and they fly over. They never know that, hey guys, we had to do all these other things to jump through hoops in order to get you guys to and from the game. You guys
Mm-hmm.
just focus on football.
Yeah, yeah, that's one of the really unique things. Again, it's one of the hardest elements going from in house as a pro guy to being a college guy is keeping your thumb on the pulse of the team. When you're a pro scout, when you're in a spot like you are, pro scout in the NFL, pro director in the NFL, you're in there every day. You're feeling what the coaches are feeling. Again, Monday, Tuesday, Sunday, whatever day it is after the game, and again, whatever didn't show up on film, you're feeling that next day. Again, there may be stuff that nobody else knows about. And
Absolutely.
again, stuff that the coaches are personally dealing with. Again, that's another one of the, again, everybody always dealing with people. And again, as a pro guy, the spot you're sitting in, Vaughn, your fingers on that pulse, and that is such a huge element. So hard to do that as a college guy, and again carrying it over now. Again, it was I had a chance to work with Greg Williams in Tennessee, and again, you talk about a guy. There's a certain Greg Williams guy. Again, phenomenal coach,
hmm
sometimes overshadowed by the personality. And it
hmm
again, you don't have to look far. Anybody listening here probably knows some Greg Williams stories. But again, like you said, finding that right person. Yes, we want the best players, but this guy's really good. He may not fit. He's not going to be the best player when Greg's in that room. And again, it's one of those tough elements. You hit on it with the film. We got to bring in good players. We want to get good players film, but we got to find those right pieces. How much of a balance is it for you? Again, hey, we got to find guys that want to play in the spring league, that are committed to it, that are committed to the long term, that are good players, good enough to help us win, and still be a fit when you're dealing with a pool of players from. How does that all sort out off season, in season, making sure your roster's right?
it's paramount to how you continue to work with your culture is. I know what our culture is within the DC Defenders. There's certain guys that, for whatever reason, they may not fit within our squad. That's not saying they're not bad players whatsoever.
Right.
I'm just saying if we were to start from scratch, we wouldn't take him. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And they're still very good, but can he work with a Greg Williams? Because Greg is going to snap on him because he's a little bit lazy. He's a very good football guy. In fact, his football character is phenomenal, but he's routinely late. You know what I'm saying? Or he doesn't respect authority in that type of way. Well, Greg's not going to put up with that. That means I'm going to have to cut this guy. I don't want to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Bro, I'll let him go somewhere else and I'll take a guy that fits. So it's huge. And it's not only that, I mean, you're dealing with coaches' personalities. Everybody's got personalities. Everybody is good at what they do. Greg is phenomenal at what he did. Now we have Blake. Blake's a different personality, same genre. I mean, he did come from the same genes as Greg, but he's different. So
Mm-hmm.
what guys does he like that's different than what types of players that what Greg likes? Uh, Even when you get different position coaches, you know, the different position coaches, you need to make sure that they know what type of players, or I know what type of players they want within that group. So
Mm-hmm.
it's just a good mix of trying to figure those things out.
Mm-hmm. Now you've talked, Vaughn, obviously about culture and how important that is. You got a guy, you got a trigger man who you've had for 3 years, had a lot of success there. Can you talk a little bit about identifying him as your quarterback and why he has been so successful there, leading y'all to consistently winning?
He's cool. He's calm. He's been through it before. He's played in the SEC. He's a spring league vet. Uh, he understands what we do schematically. He knows how to lead in his way. We don't have to try to convince him to lead in any other way. Uh, but Jordan's been phenomenal for us within what we do and how he's interacted and worked with Kais and how they continue to build out and expand on the offense. I know what type of receivers they want, which is how we're able to get some of the guys that we get, and we're going to send them right to the league. I mean, we got 3 or 4 guys right now on the roster that anybody should want. It's just a matter of what flavor you want. You want a Cornell Powell. You got a big receiver with strong hands. He's a big inside slant runner. That's what he is. Rolling. You either like him or you don't, but he's a legit football dude. You know what I mean? If you want a football player and you bring him in the building, it's gonna be hard to cut him.
Mm-hmm.
Ty Scott, this guy's ultra talented, run after the catch. Ty's on IR currently. Hopefully, we get a chance to get him back.
Mm-hmm.
But he's young. He's a little bit immature, and
Mm-hmm.
it's not in a bad way. He wants to win and he wants to be great, but now you got to coach him. Things don't come as natural as they would with Roland or Powell. And then you add in a guy like Braylon Sanders, a guy that has legit juice, a guy that can stretch the field downfield. He's consistently from Ole Miss all the way through his pro career, averaged 17, 18 yards per reception.
Mm-hmm.
He's averaging 22, 25 yards a reception now. It's the same. Seth Williams. Seth Williams is an NFL player.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he just got caught up in the George Pickens trade. And he was in a situation to where, okay, I hadn't had tape in a year and a half, 2 years, and you've only really been with Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody else needs to see you, except and not just the 60 snaps that you've gotten in preseason over the past 2 years. 30 of those reps have been pass reps. You've been targeted 5 times. One was blocked at the line of scrimmage. Two came to you. You dropped one. Now you got 3 receptions over 2 years. I mean, there's not a lot out there.
Mm-hmm.
Put your stuff on tape, and then let's get to the next level. Our offense is going to push the ball down the field. We're going to put you in situations that are advantageous for you. Defensively, you get guys like DeAndre Baker, Kelvin Joseph, Michael Ojemudia. I mean, those are NFL corners we're talking about. Last year we had Gary Young Conley. So we've had first rounders, second rounders, third rounders, 2 fourth round safeties. These guys want to play. They got legit football character. They can put it on tape and they play this type of scheme that we want. Let's go press man and let's go to work all day long. Greg, pressure them. Yes, will they hit us on some things? Yes, some things pop on us. But that's how we play offense off also. Fast paces, put up points. Will they put up points against us? Yes, play the next snap and keep it moving.
Now you talked about a lot about backs and receivers and defensive backs, but when before we got on here, you talked a lot about where it starts, which is up front. Is
Hmm.
that and I know that you value that as well. Is that a reflection of something you feel? Is it a reflection of something that Reggie felt, or is it something that Coach Harris kind of wanted you to emphasize in
Oh
building?
man. Honestly, man, I'll take this back to Reggie McKenzie. You know, when we got a chance to really build that offensive line with Oakland. It was with size. It was with guys who were tough, guys that were physical, guys that were readily available, guys that were consistent. And my first year, and really 2 years, I focused more on the athleticism and the movement skills because I'm hearing inside outside zone.
Mm-hmm.
So this summer, or this past summer, I talked to Kais a little bit more about, hey man, what about a little bit more girth? Like, what about a little bit more power? This guy may not be in essence exactly what you would want in your inside outside zone scheme. But I mean, King Doss, we're talking about a guy that's 6'5", 364 pounds,
Mm-hmm.
35-inch arms with a 10 3/4 inch hand. You know what I mean? You see 5'6'9" beside his name or whatnot, and you're like, he can't move. He's never on the ground. He's never on the ground. Yasir Durant, he's the best left tackle in this game, and he's young. There's going to be some concerns. potentially with medical or whatever, but teams have to decide that. Mason Brooks, Gunnar Britton, both high dollar undrafted free agents that for whatever reason, once they get to a team, something has happened.
Hmm.
Both of those, all of those guys are legit dudes. I tell guys, and again, you guys can appreciate this. All of those guys, you know, Liam Fortnell, he went to the Patriots last year. Again, JMU, COVID year, has to go and do another league, and then he comes to us, and he's just efficient. He may not be the most athletically gifted guy, especially if he's just looking at the paper, but he's efficient and effective. He's productive, both run and pass. But I
Hmm.
tell guys, you guys can appreciate this. The one that I tell guys now, and this is the pro guys, it's uh it's Jahari Branch. We're talking about 6025. He's gonna be 318. He's gonna have a low 40 time on him, but as an athlete, this is a guy cartwheels, backflips, can dance. He has movement skills. You see him, he's moving like a fullback. He's an NFL center. You
Hmm.
won't see him at center because we have a center only in Mike Maietti. He's an NFL center. That's the scout's dream. That's the diamond in the rough. You know, you guys are gonna see him on tape with the Chargers uh in preseason last year, and he's gonna be playing guard. You're
Hmm.
gonna see him put people in the ground. You're gonna see what he can do from a physical standpoint, but you guys don't necessarily see how he moves. Just
Hmm.
cut the tape on. You can watch him at fullback and watch how he moves. He got a few snaps in this past week at center. He's practiced all year. He's an NFL center. So
Hmm.
I'm just as adamant about that line aspect, the front seven, the bigs, as I am about the skill position. The skill position just gets all the attention. But when you watch our games now, there's clean pockets. And we can appreciate that. I can appreciate that. Jordan, I for certain can appreciate that. You know what I mean?
No doubt about it. I can only imagine. Well, you ran into some adversity early this year before the season even started when Coach Barlow got a job offer. He chose to take that. What was it's worked out perfectly with Coach Harris, obviously. And what was how did that happen, Vaughn? I mean, was there consideration of other coaches maybe from outside the building? Was it always going to be Coach Harris? Was there someone on the defensive side maybe that looked like the guy? How did you arrive at that decision, and why has it worked so seamlessly?
It was the culture, and it was the culture that Barlow had created. When Barlow told me earlier that week, again, we're talking about the last week of training camp, the week prior to our first game of the season. We only have a 3 week training camp. Uh, and now Barlow is going to leave right before we start. Literally, we had made final cuts on that Thursday, right? So Barlow and myself kind of got together. We just talked, and we just felt as if uh, the culture maintains if we put Shannon Harris, who's been with Barlow for at least a decade.
Okay.
Shannon Harris has coached running backs, he's coached quarterbacks, he's coached receivers. He's been an offensive coordinator. He's been an offensive analyst. He's been Bill Walsh internship on 3 separate occasions with 2 teams in the NFL. He, in fact, was the interim head coach at Virginia State once the
Hmm.
XFL brought Barlow here to the DC Defenders. So
Hmm.
he had all of the right makings, and I've seen him work. I've seen him produce with Jordan. I've seen him interact with Kais. He calls plays at practice. So I've seen all elements of it, and we felt as if we trusted that direction, and it limits the amount of turnover or change that we would have going into the first week of the season.
Hmm.
Uh, we had faith in those guys. We had faith in our staff. We didn't need to bring in a ton. Braswell came in as O-line coach because, again, our guys were fortunate enough to get opportunities elsewhere. Uh,
Hmm.
Cody Creel, he goes to North Texas the second day of training camp, bring in Brian Braswell. Then it was, then it ends up being Barlow, and then it was Greg Williams. And again, just replace from inside. We've groomed these coaches. They understand our schemes. They understand our system. Instead of having to teach another coach what our system is, as he's also trying to teach the players, let's build it from inside. This is a league of opportunity. That's what it was in the XFL, right?
Yeah.
Let's give these coaches an opportunity to put on tape who they are, who their football character is. And we
Mhm.
felt strongly about that on our end. And
Mhm.
man, I thank Russ Brandon, Moose Johnson, Jim Pop, those guys for listening to us. And fortunately enough, man, we're doing exactly what we anticipated doing anyway.
So you put on a DC Defenders broadcast, and it's not like some of these other games. I mean, the fans are excited. You got the beer
Hmm.
snake. It's a rare. I think maybe y'all and St. Louis are the two teams that have really been, really have developed a following in their cities. Why is that, Vaughn? Why has it been different with, especially with y'all, from some of these teams that are really struggling at the gate this year?
I just think it's the consistency that we've had. Anthony Beck and those guys, man, they've done a phenomenal job over there in St. Louis, Beck and Bowler. And the city wanted it. The city wants it there at Audi. It's right there next to the Washington's stadium. The environment is just so great for us. And man, the way that Audi is set up, man, it's set up perfectly for that football environment. And the fans, they bought in. And then again, I mean, we put a good product on the field. I mean, why wouldn't you come see a good defensive battle where we're gonna play fast, we're gonna play physical, they're gonna hit you, as G Dub would say, whack smack, you know what I mean? Do all of that. And then offensively, Kais is gonna score points. This isn't just something that started this year with Kais. Kais has been doing this for 2 decades. You
Hmm.
know, he's been consistently one of the top offensive coordinators in whatever conference, whatever league he's in. So I got confidence in those guys, and our fan base is showing us that they have confidence in what we can produce, what we can put on the field also.
Hmm. Hmm. So I know that you're fielding calls from NFL teams about players, about everything associated with the league. What do they tell you about your team and about the UFL in general, Vaughn? When you talk to all the people you know in the league that are calling you and talking to you.
This league provides the teams an opportunity to see players where they may not get a chance to see them consistently if they've only played, like we mentioned, the third quarter or the fourth quarter in a preseason game against some backups that may not make it anyway.
Right.
Uh, these guys get a chance to truly develop, especially offensive linemen, man. The
Hmm.
offensive line, and that's where again I've improved. Getting the young offensive linemen who are these are NFL bodies. Again, it's rare to see 6'5", 6'6" men that are fit men that can stay on their feet. The league needs these guys. The
Absolutely.
guys need this league. You know what I mean? So that they don't get lost in the shuffle of the undrafted free agents coming in, you know, or guys get hurt and banged up. So the NFL keeps track of all these players. I know that for certain because I had to keep track of all of these players. It gives you an easier course to keep track of them because you know exactly what they're doing. I know exactly what Seth Williams is doing right now after he got released from the Dallas Cowboys. He's not sitting at home and chilling. Seth Williams is with the DC Defenders, so I know he's in shape. Trey Dean, he participated with Shador Sanders and Dylan Gabriel last week. He gets released. You know what? I know exactly what Trey Dean's doing. He's in shape down there with Vaughn, and we're gonna put him on the field coming up soon. Baskerville. Guys wait around, let's sign futures, and he's out here playing. PBU, stop on the goal line. These guys it gives them recent tape and recent opportunity. And especially if guys have been injured or banged up, the teams don't have to worry about, oh, are you injured? You can send me the workout video. I don't care about the workout video. Let me see you out there competing.
Yeah.
You get a chance to really see it out here right now.
Yeah. Yeah. No doubt about it. Do you feel like at this point, Vaughn, y'all have proven the concept on spring football? Do you think it's something that can have legs going forward?
Yes, yes, I do think we can have legs, and I do think it's something that's warranted and needed. The players need it because they still have a desire to play. I know what it was like to have the game taken away from you for whatever reason, injury or nobody liked you at that time. Well, if you still have that energy in the burn, come and play ball. I think what we do need to do a better job of, or just continue to expand on, is getting the optics of the people in the stands, getting the people. This is an NFL game that fans can come watch, a legit NFL game that fans can watch, and it's very reasonably priced.
Mm-hmm.
So getting the marketing aspect so that the fans can get in the seats, so that now sponsorships and that aspect can continue to grow from the business side.
Mm-hmm.
With the GMs and how we structure our teams, obviously you want to have the consistency of this is what our culture is. However, there's also a shelf life to players.
Sure.
I tell our guys, man, guys, if there's two seasons that you go and you don't have an NFL transaction, that third season, I'm gonna try to cut you.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you're already at 26, that was 26, 27, now you're going into 28 years old and nobody's called you in the past 2 years, you don't have NFL film except from 2021, 22. Bro, I think it's that time to everybody makes a change. Hey,
Of
it's
course.
time to move on because the next group of guys need the same chance and opportunity that you get. So I think there's got to be a balance of we can't have all of these super older guys. There needs to truly be a this is the 24, 25, 26, 27, 28 groups.
Sure.
And if all the GMs are on par with it, I think that's consistently brings new fans into it, you know? And I think it helps to build and push the motto of, hey guys, this is a spring league that springs you forward into
Mm-hmm.
the next aspect of your life.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Good way to look at it. We have a lot of people who are trying to get into the business and they're willing to work for free. Vaughn, you are a one man show. You already said that today. What do you feel that you wish that? What is the thing that gets lost because you just don't have time to do it and it needs to be done, but you just there's 24 hours in a day and you find, man, I wish I could do that, but I can't.
Oh, I don't know anything about the 2025 draft class, guys. So
Really?
all that work is going to be done later. You know what I'm saying? For me, this is going to be this summer. So obviously agents have sent me out things and there's a bunch of transactions that are happening even within our league. Now we only get limited moves. Fortunately enough, I've been able to save my moves and I've been able to get pure NFL guys in and not have to, dip into that 25 class. But last year I used them and I was able to get Ben Bresnahan, Mike DeLillo. Those guys played this past week. Those were 2024 draft eligible players that we added to the roster that we felt like, okay, this guy has some upside. Let's see what he can do, and let's see if we can develop him. We got a chance to get a short look at him, and that's perfect. But
Mm-hmm.
that's what gets lost. I cram. I have to cram during that these next couple months once the season is over with, prior to that July draft.
Mm-hmm. Do you feel like you get a chance to fairly evaluate the players that are coming in workouts? I mean, we obviously, given the fact that UFL has been around, they're having workouts. I talk to a lot of agents who are sending players out. That's always a difficult proposition because you've got so many players and you just kind of go off the numbers. Do you feel like is that still something that is a viable opportunity for players, or do you feel like, man, that's a really hard place to pull from because you just don't know much about them?
There isn't a lot that you know about those guys. The thing that we will have, we got APT. We have all the information from that. So then it gets right back to how are you going to build your roster? You know, in my role in this fashion, and I've told, agents this and whatnot also, the toughest ones are the guys that have not been to an NFL camp at all. Again, if
Mm-hmm.
this is a league that's going to push guys to the league,
Mm-hmm.
the NFL scouts have already done the work for us by inviting the players to rookie minicamp. There's 90 of them on the roster.
Mm-hmm.
They're signing undrafted free agents. Well, we got undrafted free agents that won't make it, whether it's this year's class or previous year's class. So the NFL scouts have already condensed the names that I should look at. That's just like my scouts coming back with names. If a guy was, you know, not necessarily on our board in Oakland initially, he's not gonna come back and just jump on the board. You know what I mean? If he was a reject before, or he was classified as a medical or character, he's off. So it just reduces the amount of names. So I can reduce the amount of names by focusing on the guys that the NFL scouts have actually put at least a priority free agent or a free agent grade on.
Okay. Let's say it's the day after the season ends for the DC Defenders. You won the title, whatever it is, and now you're starting to look at 26. What do you need to hear from an agent on a player that they may be pitching you? Do you need to see film? Do you need to know kind of medical history? Do you need the player's contacts? All of the above, none of the above? What's the best thing for them to send you?
I just got to watch the tape. At the end of the day, I just got to watch the tape. Uh, Obviously, man, we big, fast, strong. That's one aspect of it. Uh, but it's just the tape. I'll filter and do all the stuff that we do on our end or I do on my end and go from there. But I just need the names and the tape. As long as I can have names and tape, I can put my AirPods in, listen to what I'm listening to, and just grind it out in the lab.
Hmm.
And then however the chips fall, they fall.
And do you have the same access? I presume you don't have the same access to tape that you had on the NFL side, or do you?
We're getting better. We're getting better. We have some partnerships with PFF, so obviously I have the NFL tape. We got our UFL tape. And then from the college side, we're gonna get access moving forward throughout the summer uh, on the collegiate aspect of it. And that's per conference based on how the conferences and the relationships with PFF and the relationships that we have here with the UFL.
Okay. When you look around the league, Vaughn, what are the strengths of this league from a position standpoint? Where do you see the most talent kind of accruing at what positions?
I think it's skill. I think the skill position. There's some good receivers. There's some good backs in this league. Uh, there's a couple good rushers. Uh, I mean, it's spread out because there's some good offensive linemen. I mean, I mentioned ours. Michigan has some really good young offensive linemen. Uh, Arlington, they got a couple really good offensive linemen, and all teams do. Birmingham consistently feels a very good team, a very good roster.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so there's players everywhere, and it's just like as a scout, you go through, you analyze, you see what the college guy wrote up on him, you see what the pro guy wrote up on him. Hey, Vaughn, how has this guy changed from this? You
Mm-hmm.
know, uh, has he improved in this type of fashion? Some of those things of that nature,
Mm-hmm.
and kind of just go from there. But I mean, it's definitely a talent. I've noticed the type of talent and the differences in how it has improved since 2023. You
Mm-hmm.
know, uh, Josh Gordon, Martavius Brown in those previous years, to some of the younger guys, Akeem Butler,
Mm-hmm.
being able to flourish, and then the receivers that we produce, receivers that Birmingham has put back into the league. Uh, those guys, they just need opportunities. They need shots,
Mm-hmm.
and this league provides them a chance to do that.
Now, obviously, it's a land of opportunity for players. Do you see it as the same kind of opportunity for young coaches coming in who maybe don't have the experience but get to do a lot of things they maybe wouldn't have done? I mean, do you see it? Is it equally a place for a good chances to grow as a coach as it is as a player?
Man, I think so, and that's the reason for myself. Whenever I spoke with Moose and Russ Brandon, this should be a chance for the coaches to show exactly who they are. As a
Mm-hmm.
coordinator, Pardee, he gets a chance to lead a talented roster. Uh, Obviously they've dealt with a lot, but Bridge does a great job of building that roster.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, the coaches definitely get a chance to develop, chance to
Mm-hmm.
show exactly who they are, and whether they go to the NFL or whether they sign like Barlow does a long-term deal with another an FBS or FCS school.
Mm-hmm.
These coaches get a chance to do what they want to do and what they love and how they can influence the players. They get a chance to show it on the professional level.
Hmm.
and not have to deal with the recruiting portion of it. And you show that you're a true pro coach going against pro coordinators.
Yeah.
So I think it's really good, and I think it's really important, something for the league and us to continue to push it and develop. You got to develop the young coaches. They get a chance to do it. You have to develop them so that you can get the next wave in and push them to that level also.
Hmm.
All that stuff is really important to me, man. I take pride in, hey, social media. Reagan, she's with Cincinnati. We've had my trainer from year one, Chris. He's in Utah. Anders, he's in the NFL. Another assistant trainer. So to get these guys to go from something that is seasonal to something that's full time, and you're still doing what you love, all while you've learned new things, whether it's the leadership portion, because now you have assistants underneath you, or now instead of reporting to uh, this boss, you have to listen from another area, and now you have to incorporate that within your room. So I think it's very important for these guys. It's the experience. If you don't have the experience, the knowledge doesn't really matter. You know what I'm saying? Somebody's not going to trust just the knowledge. You need, okay, your experience in what you do also. At least you've been through a situation of, hey, what happens if, recently we had a guy heat issues, and now he's got to come off the bus. So what? How are the girls going to react in that? You've done it now. I
Yeah.
see that you're calm, Lex. I see that you're calm, Desiree. Hey, Rob, I don't even got to worry about the girls. They got it. I know for a fact they're ready to go and take a job by themselves and would be trusted by any organization.
Hmm. Hmm. You play the teams play in big venues, and that's a blessing to have that opportunity, but also maybe a curse when you've got so many seats to fill. Is it is it a positive or a negative that y'all are playing in NFL caliber stadiums, on a week to week basis? I mean, that probably is a good thing for the players. Probably gets them excited, but at the same time, as you alluded to earlier, sometimes you're getting camera shots of kind of some empty seats.
Yeah,
What's your thinking there?
I mean, I think that again, man, the Audi field and how it's set up, being an MLS stadium, I think that's perfect. I think that's perfect. You
Hmm.
get about, I think max is 18, 20 that it feels, and we've routinely put 12 to 14 in the seats, K in the seats, and the optics are good. The sound is good.
Okay.
Uh, Obviously, St. Louis, they blow it out of the water, and I know for our playoff game, man, we're probably gonna be pushing 40K, you
Hmm.
know, uh, and that's great also. That's great. I do think the smaller venues, the more intimate venues, uh, may be a better look for this league, especially at this moment.
Yeah. No, that's natural. Well, Vaughn, I don't want to let you go without asking you about a funny time that we worked together. Probably the first time we really worked together extensively was spring of 2020 when pro days were being canceled. And
Hmm.
I'm calling and saying, Vaughn, I need you to work out these guys in Atlanta. Do you recall those times? Do you recall kind of the fly by night nature, but at the same time bringing professionalism to something that normally schools would be handling, and you were having to do
Absolutely.
it. Um, on your own. Was that? Can you tell us your memories of what you recall of those days?
I mean, we're scouts, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
At the end of the day, it doesn't matter where you go. Ta Neil, send me where the players are. You feel me? Let me see somebody that I may like.
yeah.
So not and for the guys, for the players, it gave some legitimacy in a time where they were lost. You
Hmm.
know, at least we know this is a legit NFL scout, whether it's myself or any of the guys that you brought in. So the NFL teams also felt the exact same way. Like, okay, at least we know that we can trust these numbers. I know Vaughn didn't time from his iPhone. You know what I'm saying? I know Vaughn's gonna have his 40-yard sprint. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So it's the legitimacy and the accuracy portion of it.
right.
But man, we enjoyed it, man. It's life. Life happens.
Yeah,
Like, man, I can talk to these guys in here, man. Life will always life. You got to make your decisions from that point on.
no doubt. Yeah, I appreciate the professionalism that you brought to it. I know the NFL scouts did as well. Before we get off, you happen to work for one of the most colorful people probably in the history of the NFL, in Al Davis. What was that like, Vaughn? Do you have any great Al Davis stories? That had to be a crazy time working for a man with such history, but also so much color.
Well, unfortunately, man, Reggie's regime came right after Al. So
Okay,
it was Mark's years
sure.
through
Okay.
that portion, man. But the stories that I heard from Willie Brown and all of the Raider greats about Al, and even from the scouts that were there, Calvin Branch,
Hmm.
Zach Crockett, all of those guys about how Al was and uh how he advocated for the players. That meant
Hmm.
something to me.
Hmm.
And something that I use even now, man. I tell our guys, bro, I have your backs. Y'all, you have to tell me. Let me know something so I can at least fight on the back end for you with my bosses. You know what I mean? You guys view me as boss once we step inside of this building, but I still got to report to somebody else. So if you're complaining about X, Y, and Z and doing this and that, and now you rebel, well, that's going to come back on me. Tell me what's going on so I at least can get out in front of it and at
Hmm.
least discuss it with the individuals that control what we do as a squad and as a team anyway. So it's the communication, man. Uh, I've learned how to communicate better,
Hmm.
especially over this past year. I've learned how to listen better. Uh, all the other portion. I mean, the scouting portion, and I have my own style, and I like different players than you may like, Neil. I mean, it is what it is. That's what makes this thing so great. You know, I don't have to listen to what you believe. I don't have to believe what you believe. Better yet, at the end of the day, the production on the tape is going to say if either one of us hit on the player or not. And if the guy that you liked was in my environment, or the guy that I liked was in your environment, it may not be the case anyway, as far as with the production that we get on the field. So you learn, you grow, and you work, and then working through that stuff with the Raiders and just learning how to scout, learning how to listen to other people's opinions and all of that. Man, it's been a route that you can't take away. I talked to a guy the other day, man. He in fact we're at practice. He's really, really athletic. He's really, really young. He's really, really raw. One of the few guys that's only a rookie minicamp tryout guy. And BA tells me, this is a Friday, he says, "Hey V, man, I wish I could teleport to Sunday." I say, "What? You want to teleport to Sunday? Bro, if you teleport to Sunday, you're gonna miss the lessons that you get on Friday and Saturday." I say, "BA, in fact, just yesterday, Thursday, coaches put on the card that you should slant inside so a corner can blitz off the edge. And on three separate occasions, you did it absolutely wrong.
Hmm.
Coach yells at you, you get pissed off. Three plays later, you get an interception. You know what I mean? You return it, you get an interception at the -40, and you return it 59 yards to the 1 yard line. Crash out and throw the ball over the fence. You never scored. You you know what I mean? You never scored. Then you get upset, and now you're frantic. And then you come in today and you said you wish you could teleport to a Sunday. You would have never got that lesson that you just got back then if you're teleporting and you're going to another day. Man, you gotta be where your feet are and live what you're doing right now so you can continue to grow and improve. And the guys listen, man. And man, I just been excited to see players' growth, to see the maturity of our players. Jordan Tiamu, his maturity from 23 to where it is right now. 23 he was an MVP candidate. 2025 he's going to be an MVP candidate. Briley Moore, seeing him develop. Mike Maietti, uh, Joe Wallace, you know what I mean? Uh, Undersized defensive tackle has always been a really good player for us. He's got anger issues at times. I mean, you guys see it on tape. I don't have to tell you. You know what I'm saying? It's on tape.
Hmm.
I've seen his maturity as a man. And for that, man, I appreciate because at least it's saying, even if you may think they're not listening, they're listening and they're growing as men, as leaders, as guys within the community that will have an influential role moving forward once football is over with. Whether all of those guys make it to the league or not, there's going to be aspects over these past 2 or 3 years that they would have learned and have learned that they'll take and move forward to the rest of their life and the rest of their career.
Mhm. All right, Vaughn. Well, listen, man, it's been a great 45 plus minutes here. We really appreciate you taking the time to join us. Best of luck to the Defenders. I know y'all going to go all the way. Real excited to watch y'all and watch your progress. You've been a friend for a long time, and I just want to tell you how much I appreciate it, Vaughn.
Man, I appreciate you, man. When the time is right, man, I'll be back in the NFL. When the time is right, though, it's all about timing.
That's
But
right.
I appreciate you, boss.
Agents, before we go, make sure you go check out Agent Live 360. It is at agentlive360.com for everything you need for your agency, from players to coaches, managing profiles, tracking invoices, sending invoices, getting paid, keeping up on every element of your entire agency. Notification emails, file folder storage, ROI, transactions, invoices, calendar, contracts, teams, reps, everything all in one spot for you. That is Agent Live 360. Hop on, request a demo. Yours truly will hop on, walk you through it. I can promise you we will talk some football as well. Sign up now with code TRIAL90 for a 90-day, 3-month trial at just $10 a month for Agent Live 360. That's at agentlive360.com. Go check it out now.